Well, India made quick work of the Australians on day 4 of the second test at the MCG, completing their win early in the second session. Australia were dismissed for 200 in their second dig, leaving India just 70 runs short of victory.
Australia started day 4 in a desperate situation, holding just a 2-run lead in the second innings with only 4 wickets in hand. Pat Cummins and Cam Green fought hard in the first hour, but the second new ball proved decisive, with Bumrah breaking through on the stroke of drinks.
That should be the end of Cummins. It is. Once again, Bumrah breaks through.
Green was looking comfortable and reached 45 before falling victim to debutant Mohammad Siraj.
Takes it on and gone. No! Cam Green cannot believe it.
Mitchell Starc survived the DRS scare on 9, but there was no need to review Nathan Lyon's wicket.
Gone.
A misjudgment from Hazelwood gave Ashwin his second.
Oh, gets him! Ashwin! And Josh Hazelwood will not believe that leave.
The death rattle ended the Aussie innings and left the hosts with just 69 to defend. To pull that off, they'd need everything to go their way.
Oh, that's straight into the leg of Matt Wade at short leg.
Starc provided a glimmer of hope.
Edged and gone. Payne accepts the chance. Starc pretty reliable with the new ball.
5 balls later, Cummins found an edge as Pujara was caught for 3. First innings hero Ajinkya Rahane came in, and together with debutant Shubman Gill, they went about shutting the door on Australia.
Sauce. What a shot that was.
Mitchell Starc couldn't quite catch Rahane as the stand-in skipper finished things off.
The skipper gets it away, fittingly hits the winning runs. What a performance by Team India.
The 8-wicket loss asking serious questions of the Aussies. The series now tied at 1 apiece. Josh Bristow, Fox Sports News.
Well, to dissect all of the action at the MCG, we've got our regular cricket panellists, Harini Rana, writer and broadcaster in Mumbai, India, and Norman Koshinet, who's also in Australia following the series for a number of Indian outlets. Harini, to you first, to the spoils to the victor. You never doubted your Team India. What was the difference between Adelaide? 8-wicket result in both of them, but what a turnaround.
Absolutely. I think last time that we connected, we were saying that, 36 all out, the only option available for the Indian team is to come back and bounce back. And that's exactly what's happened. In case if you look at the kind of performance that the team has put up, they were very well aware that, okay, you're down and out. It was more of a mental game that we saw. There was a bit of intent that was shown by the team. And of course, some tough calls that were taken by the team management as well. It wasn't easy to get 2 debutants, especially at Boxing Day, at the intimidating MCG. It's never going to be easy, but the team management took that call of drafting Shubman Gill in. Maybe it was also because there were not much of options available with the team. And of course, Mohammad Siraj coming in. Now it's putting this in context, now Mohammad Siraj has lost his father. He could not attend the final rites for his father. And here's a guy who's making his debut. So it's a lot of mental nerves. I think that India did really well in terms of psychologically. They had that intent. And it's not an easy space when you're in a bio bubble, when you're away from country, to be putting up this kind of performance after 36 all out. I think it speaks a lot of the character of this team. And to be doing that without Virat Kohli, to be doing that without some of the key players like Ishan Sharma, Umesh Yadav, and Mohammad Shami, who were ruled out. So they are key pillars of the Indian cricket in the last few months. And to be doing this, I think credit due to the team management and, of course, to Ajinkya Rahane in terms of the knock that he played. By far, Kate, you and me have seen a lot of Indian victories, very few Indian victories at MCG. But I remember the last Indian victory at MCG in 2018. But this surely beats all of those victories that we've seen and experienced, because I think it's immense credit to the team and the character that they've shown through the test match.
Absolutely. And Norman, it struck me, the echo that I found in this, and tell me whether I'm correct, This reminded me a little bit of that Kolkata test in 2001 when, on a different scale, Dravid and Lakshman turned that series around mentally after Australia had thumped India in Mumbai and everyone thought that Australia would coast home. And India stood up, as Harini said, the mental approach of this Indian team, just exemplary, what has been done by Ajinkya Rahane and coach Ravi Shastri since that debacle. And I'll give you credit, you predicted it.
Thanks, Catherine. I totally agree with you. There's a lot of synergies between the efforts of both Lakshman and Dravid in that particular test and what has actually taken place here with the likes of Ajinkya Rahane. The way he has rallied the team together, and Harini mentioned it very well, there were a number of players that were left out of the team but based on injury or based on non-availability. The reality is they've done extremely well. Mohammad Siraj played out of his skin. He was fantastic. He took some 5 wickets in this match. Bumrah bowled particularly well. But as a team unit, especially in that second innings, they actually all contributed. They all took wickets. It was a true team effort. And Ajinkya Rahane was certainly the person responsible. But that turning point at that 36 all out from last game and the knee-jerk reaction and the rebound that has created an amazing legendary match. And, of course, the Muller Medal, which was the first one awarded in this match to Ajinkya Rahane. What a special moment that was.
Wasn't it? And Harini, what are you hearing out of Team India in terms of Ishant Sharma and Rohit Sharma? Are they going to be able to play any part in the back end of this series? Because that was a depleted attack, wasn't it, with injuries to Shami and then Umesh Yadav pulling up sore? Like, quite a prodigious effort to skittle Australia twice.
Absolutely. Now, the good news is that Rohit Sharma is out of quarantine. From what I understand is that he's going to be joining the team in Melbourne. Obviously, the uncertainty still remains in terms of where will the New Year's test be because of the COVID threat. Will it be at MCG or will it continue to be as scheduled at the Sydney Cricket Ground, where the historical venue where usually the New Year tests do take place. So that's something that needs to be taken into account. But I do understand that Rohit Sharma will be joining the team tomorrow or today later sometime. And that's when he'll probably be sitting across with the team management to understand where he is physically with his fitness. From what I understand is that he, while he was in quarantine, he was undergoing through his fitness drills that were provided to him, which could be done inside the room. So he was keeping up with that, but obviously it's going to be a completely different game when you're actually outdoors. So they will probably gauge on his injury as to how well he's recovered. He spent a considerable amount of time after the IPL at the National Cricket Academy, where he was undergoing rehabilitation. So it's all eyes will be on Rohit Sharma, but I do believe that Rohit would make it to the third test match, and he would probably be looking at replacing a Mayank Agarwal or somebody, because the way Shubman Gill has made his debut in the first innings, the kind of performance and the grit that he showed, it's only fair that he gets another chance. And Mayank Agarwal has been a bit of success, top of the order.
Indeed.
And with regards to the bowlers that you did mention, Kate, I think Bumrah has been an ace bowler for India in all formats, and he continues to prove that in test matches. And somewhere I feel that we've got the 5-bowler theory working well for India, and that's something that will continue, is what Ravi Shastri also reiterated after the test match got over in the media conference. He said that the 5-bowler theory works well for us, and we are looking to continue that in the next test, which means that Mohammad Siraj was at a great debut. Picking up 5 wickets on your debut at MCG in a Boxing Day test will give him a lot of confidence. And of course, the question remains over Umesh Yadav, but it seems like he might not be part of that 11 which takes the field in the third test match, because the injury is still being evaluated. But with the kind of combination that the team has got right now, they would be keeping their fingers crossed that they need to continue this momentum and need to sort of put the pressure on the Aussies, because not often do you get to win a test match on a Boxing Day at MCG so convincingly.
Indeed. Well, Norman, I guess if you're India, you'd probably be pretty happy to stay in Melbourne now, wouldn't you? Because they've recovered their mojo and they've got their one hand on the Gavaskar Border Trophy. There's a very, very good case, I would suspect, for the BCCI to want to stay there. What's your feeling on that? Would they prefer to deal with this deck again?
I've got no doubt at all that I don't think the Indian team would like to move from their hotel rooms at all for the next couple of weeks. They'd like to stay put and play their match there. The SCG is an option for them, but they've played so well that the momentum is there. MCG's their home, and they will certainly win if they play there. They'll probably win in Sydney. One last point I just want to quickly bring up about it was the slowest scoring rate of a match since 1999 against Sri Lanka. That's Australia's slowest scoring rate. It's quite incredible how that has taken place.
There you go. Well, we'll look forward to the result wherever it is in the coming test. I'll talk to you folks both again. All the best for New Year.